unmuted and you guys are live on YouTube. Good here. I don't know if it works. You're pushing. I'm good. All right. You want me to run it?
Are they online?
Oh, no, they were gonna be here in person.
Oh, Jeff is gonna be there in person?
Steve as well.
There you have it.
There he is. 1 minute and 2 seconds late. Rub it in.
So deserving.
Sorry.
So, it is. Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Let's call this meeting to order. There's, shouldn't do that. I'm gonna come down or get here earlier. First thing we do, why do I always forget the order in which we do this? We'll start off with our pledge of allegiance, right? It is, okay. All right, let's do that first, pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. We'll go. Okay. Chris Warner. Here. Sage, has he joined yet by Zoom? Yeah. Shane Love. Here. Nancy.
I'm here.
Keith Grover.
I'm here.
Josh.
He won't be.
Oh, you won't be there, okay. Jim. Here. And Jeff Rankin here. We have Milton. Who's here. Yep. Oh, Steve.
I'm just the redhead.
Steve, I am so sorry. Steve.
Present.
Jenna.
Here, present.
Vernon.
Not here.
Not here. Kristen.
Here.
Thane. We missing anybody again?
Tyler's standing in for finance tonight.
Tyler, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, then we need to go over minutes from last week. Or last.
No, we don't have them for, the July 6th meeting. This is the 2 meetings we had in June that I have prepared.
Okay,
And I put them on the, Google Drive. I don't know if they did that. They're here. For approval or approval changes or. If we have more time, whatever.
okay. People have a chance to review. Has anybody been out to the Google Drive and had a chance to review those? Some? You want to take a moment to just kind of glance through that so that we can approve, if appropriate, the minutes. There. Where?
Well, one thing I noticed on the June 22nd, we did have Mr. Clark here. And he's not listed as somebody that attended. He's from that, I think it's only that he was here giving lots of comments, but he's not listed as somebody that was here. His comments right now.
Right here.
Yeah, there should be a gas section on each one of these. Because I think we had, from City of Rigby, planning and zoning, and one of the meetings too, Idaho. Yeah, so we should have a guest section, okay, so we recognize those still. Yeah, going forward.
No, we don't have to sign it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. If we have excellent speed. I can.
I don't know what I said. I was. Think there's something. I just have to be here.
Anything else that jumps out? I think that was a good catch.
I think that's nobody speaks, he needs to have a mic. For my right now,
In for my, was there a question?
no,
No.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I vote that we approve these minutes.
Okay,
Change the you got it.
okay.
Who seconded, sorry? Thanks, okay.
Okay. You have a motion and a second. I'm assuming we just go. Okay,
You don't have it.
Yeah, we have, there's one.
Well, no, that's the old one,
Oh, the
so,
last time.
Oh, no, it's up on that.
No,
Oh, okay.
It was this afternoon.
Okay, the water study project is first.
I didn't.
It's just the same as last month's agenda, or last, Chinese reading, but last agenda. We're just continuing our review of the document. So, you know, if you can't access the Google Drive, it's important that you let us know, because that's where all the documents are, is in the Google Drive. That's where we're putting all the work that we're doing, and if you need help accessing that or finding that, we're happy to, you can come in and we can help you get there. Or you can call and we can get you there. So, but that's where all the work is being stored that we're working on. So.
Okay,
Yeah, I went into Google Drive, I didn't see the agenda, that's why we don't.
Yeah, it was another different.
Okay, so I was in the right place.
It was still in the planning drive.
well, the first thing on the agenda is the, update on the water study project.
Thank
Hey, Keith.
Oh, yes, when are you? Oh, here. So we had a meeting with Rocky Mountain Environmental and talked about what we were looking for as far as study that would help us plan for future water availability as the population of the county within the greater Rigby area increases.
I can barely hear you.
Really?
You got this fan right there.
Yeah, no, I get it. Might need to, I don't know. You wanna trade one of us over here? Well, if we turn it off, you'll notice it pretty quickly if we turn that fan off.
How's that?
Yeah. Okay, so we met with Rocky Mountain and had them put together a quote for us, to do this study for planning for future water availability. Basically, what they're gonna do is conduct a hydrologic study for the aquifer present under the study area, taking into account changes in the type of water use, increases in population using publicly available data. So they're gonna show hydrographs showing seasonal and long-term winter or water level measurements, well logs, published geologic maps, reports, data, available aquifer test data, and other available data that may be available. So basically, they're gonna look at this stuff and compose the stuff that they already have access to. They're not actually gonna be going out and doing field work on any of this. But to do the modeling, if you will, was gonna be quite a bit more expensive. We were pleased with the quote that came back, of $6,000. We took it to the board this morning and the board was very interested in, wanting to see this information compiled. And so I do have a line item in my budget for consultants, that I haven't used this year, and so they voted on and approved us contracting with Rocky Mountain to put this study together. So, I was pleased that it came in at a price that I felt that I could afford. I probably couldn't afford much more than that, so, so we're gonna go ahead and move forward and have them put this report together for the county.
Excellent.
So, yep,
Have ETA.
they said it'd take them 4 weeks, approximately. We haven't contacted them yet. So to confirm that contract with them. So anyhow, it was a not to exceed price of 6,000, and so we'll see. Hopefully they'll be able to accomplish it all on that price. But the estimated project time period was 4 weeks. Like I said, they're basically gathering a lot of the data that's already existing and putting it all together, so.
How accurate is this gonna be?
Well, it's like any report, it's as accurate
The data show,
as the data shows, yeah.
it's better than what we have.
Yeah, it is better than what we have. Well, they're not making it up, that's for sure. They're using existing data.
Stuff in the past? That one, or?
Right, I mean, like, you can go on IDWR and look at the well logs right now, and the well logs will tell you how deep all the wells are. What does it take to look at, 40,000 wells in the greater Rigby area? I don't know. And that's a joke, by the way, it's probably not 40,000, but some people think it is. So, does it make sense? So how many other thousands of wells? They're gonna gather and compose all that data. Plus, they've also done lots of studies for people for different reasons. Right, and we're also looking at only at groundwater. We're not talking about surface water. That's a different animal.
But I assume it's gonna give us a more current view of where things stand or where we anticipate things will be.
It's gonna give us a cumulative view, right? I mean, we kind of know where we stand, right? This will give us a cumulative, what's happening out there. The board had quite a discussion this morning about, and when I say the board, I'm talking about the county commissioners.
Right.
They had quite a discussion this morning about the aquifer and had anybody heard of any effects on individual wells? And I mean, quite honestly, we haven't, and they hadn't. They didn't mention that they had heard anything from individuals that have wells. Whether it's, they did definitely talk about, some of the short depth wells and, typically the older wells are more short depth, right? And in some areas, as long as the canal's running, those short depth wells aren't gonna see much change. But
this should at least either bring peace to some people's minds or raise concerns, should there be any.
it's like I've always said, when we've talked about this,
Yeah.
are you ready for the report to say we can feed 1 million homes for 100 years? Right? Who knows? I don't say
Yeah.
that, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It could go either way.
Right, it'll give us the data that we need to look at.
Yeah. Well, at least it'll help give us some guidance toward goals and policies. Right? Yeah.
Now we've gathered it, when we present the data, we can get some indication of how old we got on saw it. This was done last month, this was done 6 years ago.
Sure. I mean, these are professionals. They're gonna show their resources. The list of resources might be longer than the report. Very possible. Yeah.
Any indication of, like, for the rush on you, it said they haven't been contracted yet, any idea what the time frame is? For getting them on contract, 4 to 6 weeks after that.
Right. Surely, I anticipate this week we'll have that done. Yeah.
I used to work in contracts where that can take forever sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
Great. Any other questions? Okay. Agenda item number 2, would be continue our discussion on the plan elements. Nice. This is my
Okay.
So we left off last time, we kind of went through section 6, the housing element. And so, just kind of wanted to touch base back on that, if there was anything you wanted to, had any other policies or anything else that you maybe had thought of, the last 2 weeks that you wanted to add. These were the policies that we had worked on last time. So there's 7 of them there. So I don't know if you guys wanted to add more or if those were sufficient for now.
There you go, yeah. Oh, so that's the policy.
There it is.
H4, anybody correct me if I'm wrong, but residential commercial roof should probably change that to shall.
Correct.
The wording on H3, development should. This would be its like developments like before this time. So as far as like, is it a new?
I think it's just the idea that anything new being added.
So new development, new development should occur.
On page 5 about the green space, is there a percentage, how much green space are people encouraged to have?
So that would kind of fall more under if you were making an ordinance. Whereas a policy is like green space would just say, have this type of subdivision and development, encourage green space. And then you would later have code, specify a percentage wise.
Is there currently voluntary code?
We don't have any specific code for green space other than for planned unit developments. Where the idea is that we condense your development to have open space or green space, but it doesn't have like a specific percentage.
When the city of Rigby requires 3% of green space.
In
That's all really small.
in a PUD, what about just a regular development? A regular subdivision?
Yeah, what's the, and if you were, shouldn't there be a percentage?
Not in here, it should be in the zoning code.
Okay.
Yeah. Cause the idea is that the trade-off is density bonuses in lieu of, exchange. Green space. And right now, we don't have that, we don't have that. In the, green space,
You don't have any green, in the county, we don't have any green space percentages laid out, so. Is that something the county would look at?
Yes, yeah, that's what this will lead to, the ordinance change.
I think that's one thing people within the city of Rigby are concerned with all the changes going on there. It's. I know with this last one, the commitment of taking R2 lots and putting single family homes on R2 lots and getting nothing back in return. I mean, it's. Developers aren't having to commit anything back to the city anymore. Whether.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Well, their citizens aren't getting much back in return for all the multifamily developments that are getting.
There's no commitment on the developer to enhance or.
Well, right now, you're just looking at the zone change, so you don't know, because the development has been proposed. Or are you talking about development applications?
Development applications. You can rezone pretty easily.
It's not, yeah, but there are two different applications. You typically don't show your design, your subdivision design with the zone change, because the cost of putting that together.
Yeah, but there's an additional plat laid out, presented to P and Z when they do the zone, change. I've seen them.
Oh,
And there's nothing, and in fact, in Rigby City, they'll actually compliment it. Oh, I like what you have laid out. And, you know, there's nothing. It's just, there's nothing, right?
Green space or?
Yeah, there's nothing as far as green space. That's just everything happening, and that's where I think citizens get frustrated. So I'm glad to hear that the county's going to look at that with some ordinance change, right?
yeah,
Because it makes it easier.
yes.
People get frustrated with everything coming in because they're used to having big open space, and what else is gonna happen, and one of the ways that you can help manage it is by having some of this green space. That's a
Well,
great way to go.
And isn't that incorporated from the county standpoint?
You guys need to use your microphone. There you go.
There you go, all right. Isn't that incorporated within the suburban neighborhood designation?
Well,
As far as when you have a development and you're falling within the suburban neighborhood designation, that there is a particular amount, or there's an allocation for green space.
I think it's in there right now.
Yeah, I'm not happy. For sure.
But you're absolutely right, because when you change from 1 acre lots to 1/4 acre lots, right? Those folks don't have the room that they used to have, so parks and you know, barbecue pits and those things become more important, right? Where they all end up out on the lake and, right, because they don't have a place to play, so they need, you know, a place for the kids to go. That's why parks and those things are.
Those things become more critical, right?
Yes, yes,
And
absolutely.
so,
So where do we have this written down? Where do we make sure this is covered?
Well, for the county, it's right there, right? Encourage developments, to incorporate green space.
But there's no percentage, there's no,
No, because again, that's just is gonna be, it gets vetted out through the ordinance process.
okay.
If we put 20% in here and then the board says, no, we don't want 25, I mean, we don't wanna get hung up in those kind of
if we put
details.
percentage here then the board's the one that's gonna pass the order.
We could put some parentheses in there and say recommend 10 to 20%. We could do a recommendation.
But isn't that gonna fluctuate? And I'm not disagreeing with you, I'm just trying to flush out all sides of the idea. Sure. It's gonna depend on the total acreage of the development, right? If the development is 50 acres, 20% is a different size as opposed to a 5 acre development and they're 1/4 acre lots. And then that part is gonna be dramatically different.
It is, and what we don't wanna do is if somebody decides to go greater than that, or less than that, or whatever, we have to amend the comprehensive plan So they can, right, if we put those type of specifics in here, then they're gonna be saying, hey, we need to amend the comprehensive plan so we can do this or this. Because the specifics are in here, they don't belong in here, they belong in the zoning.
And
Right.
How about page 5, the county shall require subdivision developments that incorporate green space or open space.
I was having trouble with the word encourage,
Yeah,
because that tells the developer, we
we don't, and that's my issue too, because
Change the fact.
that's what happened in Rigby City too, was it doesn't say we have to, it says may or, and so they skirted around something that was very positive, because it says we don't have to, it says we could, we may, and so take the positive things that we're doing and kind of obligate them to do the positive things, because it protects the citizens of the county.
So let's go back up to one that concerns me. This residential and commercial growth shall occur within their respective designated areas. So we're really starting to push this multi-use properties where you have commercial on the bottom floor and apartments above it. I mean, we've added that to our code, basically.
Then that's fine. If it's added to the code, then it's being used appropriately.
Okay. I see your saying, I see what you're saying.
the only thing I would change on H4 is where it's at a pace, right?
Yeah.
When it's, and it just kind of meaningless. You know, it's fast, but it's slow.
Yeah, I
Just put it, it's supported by the pace of doing it.
I agree. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, okay. Okay, okay, thanks. I like that.
So designated areas that are supported by feasibility study. Sorry. Okay. So one of the things, looking at this, I don't know if it's the right spot, when it comes to. I was close, but I guess not close enough. Okay, so when it comes to like ditches and stuff. So something we talked about before, as far as ditches and like, for example, not being maintained, things of that nature, being an eyesore and stuff. I don't wanna necessarily put something in there that says every ditch bank has to be maintained, because that's not feasible, especially in some of the areas, but potentially in a subdivision. Maybe it should be. So I've seen some. I don't think there'll be ditches in subdivisions. Well, that's the other
There are
part.
ditches. and
There are
subdivisions.
ditches in subdivisions.
And it's gonna be more required for state
Well,
statute when it comes to water services. So if you have subdivisions that have 5 or more lots, they're gonna require those subdivisions to have surface water rights. And so that's gonna require either ditches or pressurized irrigation systems for them to be able to irrigate their lawn if they want to.
They won't be able to use their wells to irrigate their lawn, so they're gonna have it. So yeah, that's gonna be more of it. The other part is, one, having a both use and all, right? And if you do, like, for example, put in a pipe or something, and you still have that space that for it to maintain, having a, maybe there's a deep green space, but the other concern is, this may not land here, is the safety of it. Sure. More and more of these subdivisions lead around ditches, and you get, kids falling in, absolutely. And that's one of the things on this, Rigby 191 development, is they have a ditch running right through it. And there's a concern both with the water users and with the developer of, hey, what happens if it goes through that? Because that's actually pretty good flow. But equally, having a look lines could gas in some where it doesn't. So I don't know if maybe the safety part doesn't land here, but potentially there being, hey, don't have to be an eyesore. I don't know.
I think it's a valid concern, and
I agree.
and any parent is gonna be legitimately concerned, but to your other point, I'm not sure that it's one that goes into the comprehensive plan as far as, I mean, Dalton, what are your thoughts? Is it one that we address within the comprehensive plan? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that we just continue to protect that encroachment ability for the canal so they have access. It's interesting, the topic is definitely changing in the county, so, so whose responsibility is it becoming, right? That Rockwell subdivision they did, they, Rockwell fenced 20 feet back from the edge of the canal. So now who's responsible for cleaning up those weeds, right? The canal company or the property owner, right? Because they can't access that canal. Because there's a solid fence in there now. So, so it's being handled in lots of different ways. And then there's some canals that run through the city that, I mean, they're gorgeous. Some of those lawns are gorgeous, right? People have their picnic tables out next to the canal, right? You enjoy some mosquitoes with their dinner. So, so, you know, it's just it's being handled in lots of different ways, but ultimately, if the canal has the right to access their canal, the canal company has the right to access their canal, so.
And with that access, does that mean take care of the weeds, and does that mean prevent kids from?
Like I said, I suspect how it depends on how it's laid out, right? On these properties where they aren't fenced off, like the one I was just telling you. The property owner usually takes care of it themselves. Because they're also interested in how the property is.
So, and the water user in the ditch, they were there first. And so, yeah, the new property owners don't hurt. They're coming in after.
It's not defined anywhere. State statute. What's not defined?
Or you got a canal, and you got setback 15 feet on either side, and you got fences. He's responsible for maintaining that area, the weed control. That's not defined anywhere.
It's not defined that it has to be a specific amount. Trying to remember that wording. It
Yeah,
doesn't say a specific amount.
there's a specific.
There's no like appropriate amount.
I suspect that that's something that the developer would work out with the canal company. So, because we now require that they show the setbacks on the plats. So it had, you know, like I said, there's just lots of things that hadn't been done for the last 30 years. The last 3, it's been done, right? So that's, and then of course the city, that whole thing is all new. So like I said, it just is, it's a changing, we're growing up, trying to address it in different ways. So. For better ways.
To me, that's just one of those things that does need to be addressed. Yep, you got a canal owner that's done on it, that's that, it's property owner's responsibility for the property. It's not my responsibility, my fence is right here, I'm not finding all that to go through and believe that I'm sorry.
Well, and of course, the canal companies aren't gonna want it full of weeds because they wanna run their equipment through, and if it's dry and their equipment's not. Okay, we all know what happens, and so, I think ultimately the canal company, because they wanna maintain that canal.
Well, and that leads me to that policy in R2, county shall protect. That the drains from encroachment by development shall require adequate setbacks and easements to maintain irrigation infrastructure and access.
So that's what we do. Right now, we have a 60-foot setback from the edge of the canal.
So when development comes in, how does policy in R2 come into effect?
Right now, we have a 60-foot setback. I suspect that's going to change. Because the ordinance right now says that if you get written permission from the canal, you can put your non-habitable structures closer to the canal. So it's basically a partnership with the canals to do that.
The canal company, they have the ability, that's what they have the right to, they can give it out if they.
So maybe instead of protect, say shall partner with, right, or something like that. Existing canals.
And I have to hand it to Sage, that's, if you see me looking at my phone, it's Sage, who's he's sending me stuff on my phone,
Okay.
like from Fine
So it's
Law.
not really you that's arguing with us.
No, well, it is a little bit, I'm a little bit of a troublemaker. The other half.
Yeah, sorry, my audio sucks.
But
So
I can't read everything that he sent me, but it's from fine law and how ditches and canals are handled.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Don't say
So just
take your garbage
stuff
out,
we
leave
read
it
through.
down and the bank and. No one complain.
Um,
I don't know about the word.
Encouraging.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the better is, but it's, because it's, they're not cooperating, how it's worded is not cooperating with an entity. Because what's, the rest of that sentence is.
Companies. And where it says adequate setbacks and easements to maintain irrigation infrastructure access. And maintenance. Right. Access and maintenance. That would be. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Could probably even cite that document too, the Idaho Code, Title 42 or whatever it is that Idaho statutes Title 42. The specific, if you don't want to write it all out.
So on this one, we need to do anything as far as when it comes to the IDWR change as far as, and I think they've already got it in state law and we need to say anything.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say anything because they're gonna probably change it next year and the year after that and the year after that.
But we do have ordinances that are like state statutes, so it doesn't always necessarily have to be in the comp plan if there's general policies that can somewhat manage or mitigate that stuff.
So in this particular, like NR2, you don't need to say anything or want to say anything about safety or anything. This here we're basically saying, hey, don't encourage.
You could. Maintain irrigation infrastructure. Infrastructure access, comma, maintenance, and safety.
Like
I
my,
don't know, cause you're putting the town at liable for something that property owners are doing.
I guess my concern is that there's property owners and that now, but the piece that's in the middle is the developer.
Or the property owner.
Well, but initially, some of this is being done by the developer, right? And then they walk away, so they'd be like, yeah, we don't want anybody to get hurt.
But we're talking about existing, there's 60 canal companies in Jefferson County. And I mean, we're talking about existing stuff, right? And yeah, somebody comes in and buys it, they take the fence down. Something happens, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's just a ton of out there.
Like I live along the canal, we do not have an existing there, actually, pretty much about, but, I don't want. Well, somebody gets in there, I see kids going down it all the time.
Yeah.
I don't wanna be liable for them just because my property runs up to.
Yeah.
I just go by, my dog barks at.
So we'll jump back up. There's while we're with, Tyler is. Sage, I think is, Sage, I think, Tyler tried to make you as a panelist, that way you could speak. I don't know if you accepted that, you might have to resend that again, Tyler. Sage, you accepted it. Is he showing you as a panelist?
Yeah. I'll ask him to unmute himself.
Yeah, you can just unmute yourself, Sage, so you can talk.
Are you talking to me? Oh. I was just thinking on that last section where you guys were typing away with the,
Are you showing your hand or something?
It showed him as he's talking.
Because you have a red little.
can you hear me now? How about now?
You have your audio output.
It should be.
Does that make it any better?
Now we'll be in the speaker section.
Alright, try again, Sage.
No. Wasn't it that second one?
You can always do like a ding or something. You can always like.
It says you're starting to ready.
We don't have. Yeah, your volume.
Is this how we do it now?
Oh, let's go this way.
Yeah, sure, either way.
Oh, wait, I think we were hearing you just now, Sage. And you could turn off the phone. Try muting, try unmuting yourself again. I don't think he's going for that.
So if I unmute my computer, you can hear me now?
Oh, I think it's come through the computer now. I'm gonna hang up on you.
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
That doesn't work now.
Are we all healed up?
there we go.
Yeah.
What I was rambling about all by myself was the section about, if we don't want to cite the chapter and verse of the state laws in this particular comprehensive plan, we could just put a little caveat in there that they structure their stuff in accordance with current local and state laws or something to that effect, and then that drives the developer to go do their homework.
What he said was, put some type of verbiage in there where they meet up with local and state laws. And that way it forces the developers to do their homework on Idaho Code. And they are following all the applicable laws associated with the canal and all the other items that we're discussing here.
That's really what they're defined.
Right,
Yeah,
so I like that.
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't have to be some big coming up.
Yeah. It's just
They have to be compliant.
being compliant with the state and local laws.
Yeah. I like that.
Because realistically, at the end of the day, the comment that was made earlier, what if somebody comes in later and moves that fence? I deal with that constantly because, like I've said, my ditch runs through 2 subdivisions, and there's always homes being sold and new people moving in that don't understand it, and I have to explain to them that the laws carry more weight, and that this is the way it is. So it's a never-ending battle, but we could definitely encourage the developers to do their diligence and at least try to set up the folks with ownership of the ditch to do their to be as successful as they can. And there is, in that thing I sent Jeff, that link, I think it was, I don't know, section 3B or something, it did talk about like me as a water rights owner, I'm not necessarily responsible to keep the weeds down and to make it look pretty. I need access, and it's my job to maintain the integrity of the ditch, but I don't have to make it pretty. Usually that means getting rid of the weeds because they restrict the flow. So if I'm smart, I'm going to do it anyway, but I don't have to.
I think that's a clean way to do it.
Yep.
Is that NR2? Or yes.
So
Well, that you wanted to add them or put in there?
follow all local and state laws and ordinances.
I mean, yeah, right there after the word maintenance, you can, let's see, adequate setbacks and easements to maintain irrigation and infrastructure access and maintenance in accordance with
Yeah.
current local and applicable state laws. And then they're bound legally. It's not somebody's opinion. It's a statute that's already established, and we don't have to fight anybody about it.
Love it.
Because then they're not arguing with the committee, they're not arguing with any of us, they're arguing with the law, and they can take it up with state legislators if they don't like it. I don't think they'll win, but I'm just one guy.
Were there any others that kind of came to mind in regards to kind of irrigation water rights and whatnot?
Can you scroll back up to 811? I saw something there.
Yeah. So this section 8 kind of goes over all infrastructure and public service elements. This kind of touches base on, like drinking water and sewer systems. And so this is just talking about what the current, situation with like, municipalities for city and for water and sewer.
I see the word a lot and being an old contracts guy. It starts to notice me. Being an old contracts guy, I see certain words and they kind of hit a note with me. Future land use decisions should prioritize, shall prioritize.
Right here.
Yes. And another one, and maybe I'm nitpicking, and tell me if the second sentence, this is a recent water study. I'm assuming that this policy document is enduring, it's gonna be around for years and it may or may not change. Maybe it might be a good idea to reference, technically, I don't want it, only because you're talking about one that was done last week, 5 years from now, somebody looks at this and goes, well, which one to refer to? They just did another one. So. Whatever.
Yeah, well. So basically, this is just talking about the city of Rigby's current sewer system plant, their water treatment plant, and then talking about, all of the city of Rigby's wells that they have, and there's 2 that are kind of on the outskirts of the city limits. So this well number 4 is in the Rigby Creek subdivision, so right off of 4100, and then well 5 is off of 200 north and 4000 east. And so both of those wells are kind of on the outskirts of city limits or in county limits. And so, or I guess not a jurisdiction limit. And so just kind of indicating that that's where city water currently is and showing the potential, you know, if someone were to build a house by state statute and by the area, the city of Rigby's area of impact, is that any development within 300 feet of the water lines, they are required to hook up to city water. And so that's kind of where, you know, where this is why we're considering providing, you know, higher density out in the county. So that way, instead of providing 1 acre size lots with city water, they're able to create smaller lots that if they're able to annex into the city, they're more easily able to meet city standards rather than just staying in the county of the city services.
On the first paragraph. First sentence is that the city is planning. We want to reference like your. So.
Yeah, we've had
Because other things. Yeah, also going down from to. Yeah. And someone to be fast.
Yep, no, that is fair.
Well, let me back up. I want to make sure I understand kind of what you said, so I don't want to misunderstand that.
Okay.
If it is easier for them to hook up to city services than county services. Is that one of the factors for whether or not the city annexes them in?
So it comes down to the size of the lots. The city will not annex any lots that are an acre. So if there is city water available that is in county jurisdiction and they're hooking up to city water, but they're 1 acre lots, even if they're hooked up to city water, the city isn't going to annex. Or, you know, if they want to, the city wouldn't annex them in because they would struggle to be able to provide infrastructure or require them to meet city standards with how large the lots are.
What is the minimum that we're sitting? 5 acres to
It could change. You elect a new council tomorrow, it'll change. So
Yeah, and I guess that is
That was
fair.
my next question, is that's what they're currently saying, that's not in code.
we have a moratorium right now, so they're not annexing it.
Yeah. But I guess it really comes down to the cost of infrastructures. If you have smaller lots, you're able to provide water to more homes versus 1 acre lots where the water lines, is a lot of upfront cost for infrastructure, both for the city and for that developer. And so that's where it's more feasible for both city and developer to have smaller lots when you're hooking up to city water. Cause then, you know, if the line breaks or something, it's a lot easier to get out there and maintain it than trying to find it on 1 acre piece versus, you know, smaller lot sizes.
In here, we're referring to the well by numbers.
Uh-huh.
Is there gonna be a part from this document that have those locations?
Yeah, we could provide money for that.
On the reverse side of that, is that something where there's critical infrastructure and you should disposal locations?
Actually,
It's critical infrastructure, so
Yeah.
like. Some people take it out and part of the problem, so how would you want to like say I should do inside?
I mean, it's public information with IGWR. You can go onto Idaho Water Resources website and you can see those wells that are. Actually, I mean, if you want, I can pull it up now and I can show the two that are there, or the two that I mentioned. So it's a little off where it's indicating, but, right where my mouse is, so that's well number 4 in the Haley Creek subdivision. Is one of the city wells that are located right there. And then, 4,000. And then on this piece right here is where the other city well is located. So if you zoom out, so there's this subdivision here, it's called Winco Acres. And so part of their plat, they do have a restriction on there that they're required to hook up to city water when they do develop. And so we had a recent zone change where this applicant went to spur the neighborhood so that he could go to 0.6 acre lots. And so, but he's gonna provide city water to those lots. And then the other 3 are well within city limits, but these are the 2 that they're both on the east side of Highway 20. And so.
Or outside city limits.
The one on 200 is outside city limits, but the one that's in the Haley Creek subdivision, that is in within city limits, but it's right on the edge. So just on the other side of that road is county jurisdiction. So the idea is that, you know, within 300 feet of that well, if anyone were to build a house, say, or anything like that, they would be required to hook up to that city water. So that's kind of, you know, why we're, you know, considering you know, city sewer and water services when it comes to this greater Rigby area. And having that encouragement, you know, if they hook up to city sewer water, then that's, you know, the idea of being able to have that higher density and to provide those other services, or to make those other services available. So these are some policies that are referring specifically to drinking water standards. So if there's any other policies or goals that you want to add for this one, or I guess just for now, we can just focus on policies for city water. I guess there's a couple more, but.
Bill shall consider long-term water availability, so let's see. Demonstrate. And I want them to actually look at the water thing rather than just consider it. When is it incumbent upon the developer to establish that there is adequate water? They know that you can say provide, because once the developer is done, it's done. Right?
They already have to do the water study.
Yeah, so.
Well,
That's what I mean with
it's just the NP studies, all that's required. So that's just looking at more of the septic systems, if the ground can handle septic systems. This is more talking with the drinking water, and, you know, if they were to put a well in, you know, is it going to affect the aquifer, or, you know, if they put it in, is it gonna, you know, be able to draw water for a certain amount of time?
And that's why I'm leaning towards the word demonstrate rather than provide. Because they've got to establish that there is adequate water there for their development.
That's what we're doing with the study, right? So why do they have to do it after we just spent $6,000 on it?
Time goes on. I mean, how long is there, a comment earlier, how long is this document gonna be lying around? You know, and how many more developments are we going to see? We may get studies that say everything's great right now, but is it gonna be the same way 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now?
If we did the study. Prove that there's some other stuff,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They could.
but as far as some point in the future, they can still do it.
Sure, I think the study's gonna have validity the moment that it is published. And then there's going to be a period of time that it's valid. After X period of time, that study will probably need to be redone.
Just like this document. This
Yes.
document will last about 5 years and then, right?
Okay, I think we can put on there, if they can demonstrate it. One, they can reference our document and see what it actually says, because what if our document comes back with the worst case scenario? Well, crap. Now, it says you can't do it.
It could.
You know? Or it could be, hey, you're golden for the next 2,000 years, good job,
Yeah.
bring in millions of people.
Am I misunderstanding? And one says more than 1 unit, 2 acres, we're saying 2 acre lot. Two house zones.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Much more than 2 units per acre. They was selected on that one. Oh, not acre. Well, maybe it should be 26.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, on a 1 acre lot. That's R1, you can already have 2 units on that, you can have a normal house, and then you can have a mother-in-law apartment or whatever else, right? So is that gonna classify as 2 units?
This is more talking single family. So those are classified as different, so classified one is single family and classified as an accessory building. So you can have one of each of those, but you can't have two single family. One here. Single family lots, 3 units. I guess, oh. It's Monday. It explains a lot. It is, oh, yeah, that was just.
I like that. That's better, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, sounds good.
Can I play devil's advocate with the water study?
Please.
So to start, what appeared to be Jeff's inattentiveness due to my lack of technology, I just did a quick chat GPT search, and the question I asked it was, how long will it take to deplete the Snake River aquifer at the current rate of consumption? Took 15 seconds. It gave me a whole bunch of data. It cites its sources, and most of it was Idaho Division or Department of Water Resources. But kind of essentially says we're not going to run out. At the present managed rate, the eastern Snake Plain aquifer probably has no meaningful depletion date. It's currently closer to stabilized or slowly recovering than marching toward empty. So just that's devil's advocate guy and me. I don't know if that $6,000 is best spent there for that very reason, because you're going to have one guy show up 6 months from now and go, yeah, that was 6 months ago. So I don't, unless that's a trajectory that can really forecast 30 years of growth accurately, I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze for the $6,000. Unless we got $6,000 to throw around, then by all means do it. But a quick AI search just told me that probably wasn't a real thing.
A month ago myself. And it gave me something completely different than what you just quoted. It told me that if we don't change what we're doing in the next 5 years, we have a high potential of running out of water. So I think ChatGPT will give you what you ask it to give you.
That or got new information on
Any of that's possible.
I know.
You know, I don't disagree with that. You can structure your questions in these things to get any output you want, but it really actually didn't even give me what I asked it for. I just asked how long it'll take, and it said, there's really not anything that shows that. Yeah, I mean, it did throw some numbers. So I mean, I can throw some numbers. It says historically, the aquifer lost about 14 million acre feet from the 50s through roughly 2015, averaging about 215,000 acre feet per year. The readily usable upper portion has been estimated to contain roughly 80 to 120 million acre feet, although broader estimates that include greater depth run as high as 200 to 300 million acre feet, and that's from the U.S. Geological Survey. It says that a continuing net loss of 215,000 acre feet annually, 80 to 120 million acre feet would mathematically last about 370 to 560 years. Using the larger 200 to 300 million estimate gives you roughly 930 to 1,400 years. And then it continues with those numbers are mostly academic nonsense because I have set my chat GPT up to be a little smart assy. But I mean, there is some factual stuff behind it. That data does, like I said, it's cited U.S. Geological Survey gave them the numbers on the, what it contains. So it's not just throwing a bunch of numbers together to tell me what I want to hear. Idaho reports managed recharge and groundwater pumping reductions produced a net increase of about 2.73 million acre feet since 2014, also off Idaho Department of Water Resources. So it takes the recharge rate into account as well. So like you said, you can get your information for, you can get whatever answer you desire thanks to the World Wide Web and AI these days. So there's my devil's advocate speech. I digress.
So I also was doing some research, because I'd seen a news article talking about another aquifer dropping down. And in looking at that and, you know, reading that, I also had to do a comparison to a wording. And one of the key differentiators between, I think it was a Texas aquifer or something like that, is we have the Snake River and it's dumping into there, but it's not the river that's dumping in, it's the farmers who are using the flood irrigation. And one of the things that's impacting aquifer recharge is the use of pivots and things of that nature. And so it's, the concern long-term is not like, hey, the aquifer's getting pulled out, it's that it's not being replenished at a fast enough rate. Same time, well, we've got what we've got, the study's been approved. I mean, I guess, can't really go until the commissioners piss off. But I think it's, at least in my mind, I think it's been approved and I think it can be a positive resource. And, you know, it's one more piece of the puzzle that every time we have a planning and zoning meeting, like half the people are up there saying, oh, I don't want new development because the aquifer, or stop traffic. But, you know, it's something that will continue to come up, but it'd be good to have something to kind of have that people can reference.
Yeah, and I think there'll be ammunition, one way or another, it's gonna be ammunition that it is a cited source other than ChatGPT.
Not everybody's on board with their AI, so.
Right.
It's not always up to that.
Well, it's not just citing ChatGPT. I mean, it lists all the sources where it compiles its data from. So you don't have to cite ChatGPT. You cite the sources, Idaho Division of Water Resources.
Right.
You know, you got to be a little smart about it. U.S. Geological Survey performed on this date in this area states this. I mean, you can compile. That's all it's basically done. And I don't know that we're going to get anything more than that. It's Rocky Mountain Place, and I could eat my words. I mean, I would hope that they'd be a little more thorough for the money, but all that stuff's out there for the public to view from our own government entities if we want to, you know, we want to gather it up.
Yeah, and that's basically what the water study is doing. Is they're not going and creating this. They're basically going collecting the data, looking at everything, but more on a local front of what's affecting us directly here, and then bringing that data back. You know, as a presentation of that, not necessarily going and doing.
Yep.
And we use Claude, by the way, so.
Oh. Better co-pilot.
It's their latest.
Copilot can spell your sentences right after you get the information from someone semi-audible.
That's about all.
Okay. Is there another section you want us to review?
There's this one, the traffic. Transportation.
Let's wait on that one.
We'll wait on that one.
Well, we just,
Might be a little more.
no, we just got, all that information from.
What information did you get, Bill?
There's stuff from ICB.
Yeah, the funding.
Promises, empty
Promises. Yes. I was reading on that today.
It's coming.
Oh, we're gonna find the lures.
Yeah, we're just waiting on the plans to be finished by every side.
Do we want to go to the survey or not yet?
Yeah, let's do some of that. We don't have much time left for the night, but let's talk about the survey for the month. Again, IS six, right up there with the word should versus shall, encourage development or require development. Well, when you read that statute, it says that. It basically says that they can't use well water for lawn care unless there's nothing else available, something like that. And so there is an out. And you wonder where that would apply. We looked at a property last week, there was 9 acres. It had no irrigation rights, so.
I've got 4 acres and have no irrigation rights for any of it.
Right, so you get a water half an acre, not drop more.
That's right. Until I drop 3 more wells, because they're 4 1-acre lots.
Yeah, for.
You could maybe do 2 lots per acre. Yeah, for the accessory.
Water the whole acre.
Yeah, you water it and you let it grow your crop.
Then just rent out as Airbnb.
That's right.
There you go.
At $15,000 a lot. I've got an extra.
Grover's gas lodge. Individual.
I guess potentially on this one, kind of more just similar, like we were saying, in accordance with the law.
Yeah.
Some really good. Wording.
I don't have a counter.
Development shall utilize well water for domestic use to the greatest extent possible. Something like that. I don't know if this is how that's.
You could do. Development or. This is.
So get rid of encourage.
Yeah.
Developments, shall utilize well water for domestic use to the maximum possible, or something along those lines. Their lawn care encouraged with irrigation.
Yeah.
Or me.
Sorry.
So. Not there shall. Be done.
Water for domestic use.
That seems like much more of a shall be improved.
Or well, you talk about.
Yeah.
You can go utilize irrigation.
Lawn care shall.
Lawn care shall utilize irrigation water rights to the greatest extent possible in accordance with state and local laws and ordinances.
Like that. Does that mean the greatest extent you should be watering all the time? Put as much water on.
Everybody right?
Yeah, that's the way my neighbor reads it.
I'm not passing that water on, even though it's right here. I'm right, I get it. Yeah. Probably thought that you.
Lawn care shall utilize irrigation water.
I should like everyone telling where to.
But it's okay, right? Just keep up to it.
No pressure, everybody's watching.
No, it's okay, Mars.
Yeah.
Judge, yeah, about 7 foot
Watch
wide.
like.
Somebody was rewind it right on the top.
I think mine.
I can't read that.
So nice to meet you now.
So
You said you can't sign that.
I think that man,
Just
is that where it is? That's what the survey is?
But I'd have to either sign it or.
Big thing, so how do we get into meeting? You have a login on that?
Not the Daltons, I have to sign it mine.
I have a picture of it.
Do you have the access on your laptop? Maybe you could just join in. Do Zoom in.
I'll just, I don't know if I have my personal.
Oh.
Yeah.
You want me to just try to sign it real quick?
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to happen.
Oh, you have to. login.
Actually, stage,
We're gonna stop there and just for a moment. So that-
It's got your morning exposure faster. I think it's a great idea.
Call. Is. You say this one, we get this.
Oh, yeah. Let's see why I didn't watch their custom.
We just remember.
Yeah.
Feet that way.
So I almost wonder if she was like.
I think we just, we just have her not sit there next time, have her select one of these. So I'll volunteer to sit over there.
Everybody. I never hear your then on here.
Super pretty.
So I've got a life for my day.
Oh,
That's what we needed to do. It's not, it seems.
We can turn it off, but we can turn it off, but you will notice it quicker.
Oh, well, it's hot outside, so.
Yeah, well, you'll notice it in here quicker.
There's one back there.
Well, it's not so much that, it's just.
Yeah.
Or you come in advance. It's here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I walked on campus yesterday, one of the rooms was 63 degrees, I just go and sat down. That was amazing.
Sitting in the server room. Hands are freezing, but hey, it's nice.
Okay, so after last time, we kind of went through and you guys gave some suggestions, so this was just what we had updated. So we still have, the first question is placing a pin in the general area where you live, just to get an idea of who's filling out the survey. And then the first question is, what do you value most about living in the greater Rigby area? And these are all the options. See if I
You
can-
can put the, yeah, put the extract there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
You can also present it too.
Will that be, yeah, how would you learn? See a little better.
Can you select more than one of these?
Yeah.
Sit on, yeah.
Everything's like that, so far.
Select all, we'll get one.
We'll give you staff positions to check if you want, pretty sure.
It says it right there, select all. Yeah, yeah, it said it right there.
My bad. That's that one. And then, what characteristics and lifestyle or qualities best define Rigby? And then this one, is kind of you rank them, so whichever one you want the highest, and then go in that order. On that,
We've got the internet. Unless I'm looking at this wrong, everything but the internet is something that's provided by local government.
Yeah, yeah, we've got, I have that in there. It's really controversial. Well, fiber comes
oh, points.
here in town, I believe.
These you could put, yeah, and ambulance services or something.
Yeah.
Emergency services.
You were, yeah, it's like the, or is it trash law enforcement or?
Oh, that was emergency services for the corporate area.
Yeah. I think that's.
And fire department.
So remove the fire station capacity and just have emergency services.
And we gotta come up with one to place that. Look at that.
I can went back to one.
It's like you can send that.
Get everything, so the whole one item is everything.
Like parks and recreation as opposed to trails.
Yeah.
This one, what kind of economic growth would you like to see? So I think this one you guys wanted to have like examples behind each one, so that way you had a better idea of what they meant. Okay. And then where should we prioritize efforts to manage increasing traffic? So I think, is this one multiple or just one option?
How about you? Multiple
Choice.
You can change it, well, it says the multiple selection, you can toggle that bit if you want more.
No, let's not do that. Let's, because, I mean, really, it's gonna come down to, what's the highest priority? If the county had $10 million to spend on traffic, which would be the most important one, right? Would it be County Line Road? Would it be 200 overpass? Would it be widening 48? Would it be, stoplights up and down 48? Right? 6 lanes from here to Salt Lake, what would be the longest?
No, we don't wanna deal with that construction.
Oh, 6 lanes from here to Yellow. Okay, so
Even worse.
right, so that was a joke, but
I didn't-
If we're really, want to survey people, they're all advocates here, these look like good ideas, back roads, Highway 20, State Highway 48. We have a category that says other specified. If you're asking the community.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't think we have this one would be a common option, because if we just put other, then there wouldn't be anything beyond other.
You would have the prompt to go fill it in.
Text.
Well, you would, but they would just say all of it. Which again is not realistic, because all of them is gonna cost $100 million, but. Right,
Okay,
so what's the highest priority? What do you view like, and of course, those that live on county line are gonna say county line, the ones that live, on 4,000 to 4,200, they're gonna say, have it for gig. Right,
My driveway.
right? Right.
I was here last week. How is a round highway 20 defined?
Yeah, and then that's the whole other.
I would look at it and go, are you meaning highway 20? But that's
are you meaning
a
the,
US highway, it's the county responsible.
are you meaning the two exits?
The 2 exits need work. Well, one is. You wanna wait 20 minutes if you're left.
I would just put county line, maybe.
Perhaps just a county line entry.
Do we
Is
need to
there-
specify roads, or can we put something like, we need to focus our efforts, around, schools or, places of higher density population to, to think about it that way rather than just coining a road here and a road there.
Well, I guess in my mind, some of this is kind of following what the county's looking at. And that's what they're looking at. They're looking at county line, Highway 48, 200 overpass. Yeah. I think that's all they're looking at.
Well, we should make it realistic then, so if people are putting down back roads and there's no intent whatsoever to do any improvement there, why are we asking the question?
Well, I get it.
Yeah, I agree.
That feedback going
Are
back.
you saying the county's looking at these things? Is the county looking at it as we can either do Highway 20 or 48, but not both? Is that the kind of priority, or are they saying we're looking at?
When you see the price tag,
I am.
when you see it, you will say, oh, which one are we gonna do first? Cause they're all gonna be $20+ million.
Sure.
Each one, so, and how do we get there from here? So some of it'll be, if you can get developer funding it, then that'll happen sooner, but.
I don't know the developer,
But it would be nice to know, it'd be nice for the county to know what their priority is.
We have one, so we got back roads, the equivalent of like individual roads? Are we talking like some of the bigger?
Right, so our corridors are gonna be like 3,800, 4,000, 4,200. those are gonna be the corridors that way, right? Or, wait, for me, it's 500 north, for others, it might be 300 north, that's 48, might be, you know, something like that, 200, I don't know.
I guess I'm just wondering on the back road, what's our back road?
Anything that's.
Not big.
Right, what I mean is, would back road include like the residential roads?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, maybe we put that. Cause I wouldn't think of that as a back road, I'd be thinking that's, the back road is like the road that's just going off in the never land that's got very few pieces of traffic versus, you know, the residential road where there's a lot of cars on
Well, in the greater Rigby area, there's not gonna be a back road, right? They're all.
You'll be looking at your 1, 2, 3, 4, 500, your 38, 39, 4, you know.
it. Something, yeah, maybe have it be, yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying.
Maybe we need to constrain this a little bit, because like, what I'm hearing is that the county's gonna address certain things, and not all of them, these are never mind, but certain things. So maybe what we need to do is say something like, of the following, where should we prioritize the efforts? And say, this is it, don't talk to me about your driveway or your little cul-de-sac there, because that isn't even part of the agenda.
Yes,
Well,
I
we've got-
agree.
Who is either this, that, or the other thing, and these are them.
So I was just waiting for a chance to interject that very thing. If the county's already having these conversations, we probably wouldn't be wise to reinvent the wheel. And just, if these conversations are on the table, then we don't give people other options. And that, I like that, of the following. Even if we put in there that, you know, these are current hot topics or items of discussion or something like that, where do you think, as a citizen, we should prioritize of these following options, so that we don't have, you know, 750 different options. We've got 4 on the table right now. Once we chip away at these 4, we could build 4 more.
Very.
You're doing the same thing for that one as the fourth one?
The fourth was basically nothing there.
I'm not sure what she's going on there.
I mean, he's gonna specify a different road.
Yeah, well, I guess I should have worked with myself. I already started with that.
I don't know which ones they've got on their docket to consider.
Those 3 that I told you, County Line Road, 200 overpass, and widening Highway 48. So those are the main 3 we're looking at.
Let's put those 3 on there then.
Yeah, just leave it at that thirty. Oh, wait, which one?
Kill that one,
County Line Road,
kill the fourth one.
yeah,
Okay, then.
200 overpass.
We could put a wild card in there, just for fun.
That's gonna be the golf course.
Overpass at Alley 20.
Oh, open.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's one more width roads, and this one is kinds of things to improve on those roads.
And this is a ranking.
Yeah, this would be another rank. And we agree with all of them.
Yeah.
Live on the other side, they go 0 to 8, well, really fast.
Oh, yeah, fuel by that side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so look out for
I
a
found it.
certain car.
Oh, I slowed
I
down.
hear them from the stop sign, it's like.
They, cops waved at me often, so I slowed.
They were sitting there on Sunday.
Yeah. At least that road pretty good. There a couple times a week.
How much of an issue is snow removal in the county?
Not this year.
Or
This year.
what within the greater Rigby area?
So,
Is it really?
well, you talk to somebody that lives in a subdivision, it's a problem, because they're probably last priority, right? Unless there's some complication in that subdivision for some reason. But they're getting plowed last, or they're getting plowed, well, they have one plow driver that's all he does, is subdivisions. And with the number of cul-de-sacs that we have, it takes him almost 2 days to plow cul-de-sacs and subdivisions. So they'll, as they clear the main roads, then they'll move more to the subdivisions, but they do have one assigned to subdivisions.
Okay, so the next question is how we kind of organized it, was we broke up the greater Rigby area into 4 larger quadrants, because kind of what we were looking at last time was showing the change in growth from 2000 to now, and how we were seeing a lot of development that's already occurred, more so on the south side of the greater Rigby area, and there's still more of the larger farm ground on the north side of the greater Rigby area. And so these are all just the different land use designations that we kind of created. So we have the residential, the suburban residential / commercial and commercial, and we might possibly add industrial just to account for what is currently existing in the greater Rigby area. But that could change to, you know, if we just want to keep all industrial and commercial just being under the commercial land use designation. But these are just defining the different terminology before going to the next slides. For each slide has blocked out that quadrant. So this is the northwest corner, and indicating the roads that create that quadrant, and then they'd be able to pick which land use designation they'd like to see in that area.
Will this link to their original map when they say this is where I'm from, and they get to pick the quadrant that's associated with where they're from?
No, that first map is just gonna show that you're only allowed to select one option on that map, and so that would just be a previous slide.
Right, what I'm saying is.
Yeah.
On that very first one where it selects where they're at,
Mhm.
can that then prompt a question based on the quadrant where they say they're from? And that way they only get one option out of the 4, and they get to talk about the quadrant that they're from.
Well, yeah, because if I'm talking about my quadrant, I'm gonna put all the commercial in somebody else's pot.
Yeah. All right, so
No, yeah.
is that something we can look at?
Yeah, we don't look
I
at
don't
that.
think you can do that on.
Yeah.
I would put this, depending on the tree, but I would
Yeah.
systematically, I would put down 0.
Yeah, we look to see if that is possible to just set based on answering this question,
Well,
where then
I
what
think what
question
you
they
can
would
do with
get.
that is if you have it set up right
If they take out.
with whatever one they select, it automatically prompts the next question for whichever these be their next question.
Yeah,
And then what you'll get is, it'll just be a button that says they're in this quadrant, so then you'll get people from this quadrant answering this question. You may not get that in that map that tells you where they're at in the map, but you'll get them in that quadrant.
Maybe that's where you could use Copilot.
just use Copilot.
Yeah, type in your address here and let Copilot figure out if what quadrant that address is in, and then it'll redirect them to the proper quadrant. So, because I was thinking the same thing before it was said. I'm like, well, that's perfect. I'll just pick somebody else's quadrant for all the pig farms.
I'm gonna send all of the commercial stuff. That's all going over there, by Garfield.
Or I guess maybe to,
20.
would it help maybe like on this first map, just to show the 4 quadrants on this map, and then when it gets to those questions, only answer if you were in this quadrant?
You could.
If we're not able to do that the other way.
Yeah. The ability to add on these maps is, so click on one of the maps. Almost on the left. So here we're showing this quadrant, but at least in my mind, you got that little lower right part of that quadrant. which is kind of already done.
Oh, yeah, well, 'cause that's in the city limits, is
But,
that part,
like,
or,
maybe draw something, so it's like, this is the part where we're actually talking about, not in the city, so, cause you're like, oh, I want the city to have residential. I mean, that's why.
They are gonna be tearing stuff down.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also struggling with types of growth you would like to see, almost feel like people are gonna put zero.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
which, trying to think how to reword that, to recognize that it's already, something, it's something that's already there, you know? Hasn't been built yet, but it's already been approved. How do we reword that, you know, type of growth you would accept or prefer? Or,
Not screwed up.
yeah,
The type of growth, yeah, that would fit this area, or.
Yeah, maybe just say what would best fit this area.
you know.
Oh, so this one isn't a select, this one would just be a ranking, so you'd rank the three.
You might almost need to black out the city too, so that people to expand on that last comment, so that
Yeah.
Yeah, the ranking will help get an answer.
These are,
I do like rank it in order of importance to you.
yeah, that's where I was going, since it's a ranking, just rank the following types of growth that would be most important in your area or something like that. Versus
Most beneficial.
most, yeah,
What's taller?
The growth you like to tolerate.
See, I'm pointing that little 3 blocks from a Jack in the Box. It was nice.
always like that.
Was it though? I haven't eaten there since I moved out here. so-
Okay. It cured you of that? It did.
Define beneficial.
Yeah.
So we want to split a multiple choice split or right?
Ranking.
Yeah, I could change that.
I think it's already set up as ranking, now it is. I lost the image. Okay, and then these are just the same, go with the same change to all of it. Okay. I don't know, I don't know.
So you. We got only one question while we're at the end.
I can't.
Internet went out.
So it looks like I think it's those quadrant questions, and then the last one, I think is just a lasting, open comment bubble, just any comments.
That should be interesting.
Yeah.
Cover your kids' ears.
When are we planning on publishing this? For people to
Um,
start?
it'll probably be, a month or so. So we had to finish our area of impact agreement with the city of Rigby. And the statute requires that we send notice to everybody inside the area of impact. So we're sending out 2,200 letters this week.
And what does that area impact agreement necessarily say?
It says that if you're gonna do something inside the area of impact, you have to meet these requirements with the city. So it's a little bit more than the zoning code. It basically puts in place some of the city requirements for developments. So if they do a subdivision, they gotta meet the city's road standards. If they're gonna hook up the city sewer, they gotta meet the city requirements for sewer and water.
So is that 2,200 landowners that could develop their land or?
No,
2,200 property owners, they may duplicates, they may be on a half acre lot.
We will not do this, we move it.
Oh, yeah, we usually do it. So,
That's just everyone who's in that current, area of impact.
so we didn't change anything in the agreement other than we added the 300-foot requirement for the city services. So if we changed in that agreement, but we needed to get it done, we're a little behind.
So for Rigby City, that could add more people connecting to city water, city super.
No, I mean, they still have to agree to it, if somebody wants to hook in. And it doesn't necessarily have to be inside the area of impact, do they? But they have to be inside the area of impact if they want to annex. So you can't annex into the city if you're not in there. So at some point, I anticipate that that area of impact agreement will expand to include the greater Rigby.
What's the timeline on it? Working on its own now.
The rest of this, yeah, you gotta get this done.
I don't have it.
No, it just makes it so it can annex it. If they can't annex your property unless they have like 50% of 60% of the property on there. I mean, it's some wild equation. So,
At one point, if you're covered by the city on 3 sides, force annex or
Nope.
something like that.
no, not anymore. They changed the statute. Yep. They changed the statute. So, yeah, forced annex is pretty much a thing of the past. So that's why they want these guys to annex in advance, right, before it becomes 144 property owners. Well, it's one, right? That's why they want to annex. So, anyhow, that's why the city feels so boxed in. Because all the development around it. Because if they annex it into these subdivisions, then they're technically on the hook to provide those services. And but they don't have money to do it. It's quite a challenge. Quite a challenging situation. Okay.
Alrighty, next steps for us.
Yeah, we'll meet again in 2 weeks and continue working on this plan and we'll let you know for sure by then how we're gonna implement this survey and get it out there. We may start to do some community meetings to let folks know what we're working on and provide opportunity for input, so.
Okay,
And then if you guys do have any troubles or anything accessing the Google Drive, you can call or come in and we can get you set up on that, so you can view it and make comments on it and stuff.
there you go, salary.
I wish. No, I don't wish. No, I don't wish. No. I like my Saturdays.
There's probably some cool pizza.
Okay. For that, we can entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
With that, we can adjourn.
Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good one.
Okay.
I'm sure